Well, in the former recording, I said there would be lots of cuts and stuff, and I guess I wasn't wrong. OBS was recording a black screen because it was trying to capture from a GTX 1070 still. So, there's me talking and absolutely nothing on screen. So I went and I found a driver that doesn't put the graphics card into 138 megahertz comatose mode when doing 3D stuff, so that's a good start. I've already upgraded this to a newer version that has like a whole bunch of other settings. I'd almost like to take these two and slide them up so they're visible up here with the watts and the GPU load, the temperatures, and the clocks. Because knowing why the graphics card is capped out is also kind of useful. Not just the percentage of the TDP. When I first got this plugged in and I was running Unigine Valley, this is the old version, I mean, it wasn't worth upgrading past, I think it was 2021, because the GTX 1070 hadn't changed in like 4 years, 5 years at that point, and it wasn't going to change. I've also fixed this so it's no longer highlighting every single number that's changing. But the important thing here is I ran Unigine Valley for a little bit of time, and the GPU kicked up to about 70C. I heard some kind of a crack, and it was either the metal heatsink adjusting to the temperature change, or it was a ceramic capacitor going pop. I don't know, I gotta look at the card. But immediately after that, the fans on the card kicked in, it dropped down to around 60, and it kind of stayed there, and then it dropped down. I mean, I'm not seeing anything here that indicate that, like, the VRM is having an issue. So maybe it was just the heatsink adjusting to the temperature change from 40C up to 70. Still not super thrilled by that, but it is what it is. And Unigine Heaven and Unigine Valley, that they're using not close to 100% of the TDP of the thing. They weren't even like loading the GPU that much. I could probably just kick that up right now and just show you. Is the OpenGL interfaces on this stuff. I don't need to show anything other than, yeah, it works. So. So we're going to open Valley here. Run it. Can I grab this and pull it over to the other window here? I mean, it is kind of doing stuff, I guess. We're up to 60, almost. I mean, the physical size of the heatsink is much smaller than the 1070, so there isn't a lot of thermal mass to begin with, which is probably why this is swinging so much more. And the 1070 would almost be just a flat line at 60C when anything 3D was going, or iRay. Alright, I've seen enough. So So I'm thinking maybe that was Haven instead of Valley, but... Same kind of settings, right? Yeah, it doesn't have DirectX 12 because it's such an ancient benchmark. About the only thing it has going for is that it loads the GPU to a little bit so you can see what your temperatures may be doing without having significant risks of thermal runaway. Yeah, it was this one, wasn't it? Yeah, 64. 65. 66. Yeah, that power profile is much higher too. Hotspot of 80. So it's like a 10C difference, which I guess is... It's not great, but it's about average, I guess. I've seen some people talk about 20s with the newer graphics cards. And I think in a former time, if you saw some temperatures like that, you would immediately be saying, okay, the cold plate or the heat spreader didn't exactly bond correctly to the die underneath. It's a defective chip. But, you know, it's also been a long time since the hottest thing on the planet was like 90 watts, pre-Pentium 4 emergency edition. So yeah, we're sitting at 70C there, I just noticed that. Maybe this is just enough of a trick load that the GPU doesn't realize it needs to spin up the fans. They're also using some really awkward thermal pads now that you can't reuse, you have to replace them. And I don't have any of those ones. So just swapping out the paste. Yeah, I kind of really hesitate on that one for now. GTX 9 series or earlier, I'd already have the card open and replacing the paste just because MX4 was better than the regular slop that they used to use. I think even Intel decided that slop wasn't a good idea and they started actually soldering the heat spreaders to the dies instead of using whatever that sludge from the waste management facility, sewer treatment plant. I mean, I know there's trade-offs between how quickly does the stuff dry out versus its conductivity, but at the same time, if you know, you're blowing past the TDP limits of it can dissipate heat down through the pins into the motherboard as much as into the heatsink, then you really need that heatsink bond to be good. Alright, I think I've seen enough of this. So it wasn't just a one-time thing like the other night, but it did, like, drop down to 60 when the fans did kick in. I'm not closing that, I'm sliding that back over to where it belongs on the other monitor. Alright, we'll do this proper. You quit. I mean, I've got 4 more gigs on the graphics card than necessary, but I don't want to be, like, needlessly ending that stuff. And I can pull that over, too. So, yeah, that was the draw call thread there, and now it's probably hopped over somewhere else. That was something else I noticed, is something on this thread. I mean, I don't think it was REM sleep, but it was like one of those like wave patterns from like people sleeping, and it does this. The wave gets smaller, and then it gets bigger, and then it gets smaller, and it's weird. I haven't noticed that before, but I'm usually just looking at this number here and looking for a core out of the corner of my eye that's pegged at 100%. And anything beyond that I ignore. But that is weird. So how are we doing on GPU memory? 0.8. Alright, we're good. And go back to the CPU load. Oh, at this point, I talked about that, talked about that, talked about that. The interesting thing I want to go and look at is a gun named Genjiroh, however that's pronounced. And at this point, I know it's not my inventory, but I'm going to go and look anyway, just to have it on video. So I didn't do whatever the other side mission was to actually have the thing going. And now I have an idea of how far back I gotta go to not have looted that crate anyway. So, before I go there, I haven't fussed with any of these yet, so they're still the bottom of the barrel. I remember the heist mission, if you don't have this at low, if you turn it off, everything inside the building's red. So you kind of can't turn that off without extreme lighting anomalies indoors. But the other stuff is like minimal. Oh. Now, originally I'd gone to, I think, one of these morning saves after that. And there was one here with me and Vic's clinic, right there. I'm level 18. I think this is like 2 p.m. Yeah, by the time I was...
Welcome back. My guest tonight is Lieutenant Sarah Kokoski, spokeswoman for the NCPD. Hi there.
Yeah, by the time I was doing the tagging the floats, I had already looted that silly crate up on the catwalks. And I was going to show my inventory. We'll run home. We'll do that. And I don't even have that fast travel yet, so. So I was reading online that the GPU maxes out at like 115 watts. Oh, look at that, my door's already open because I ran to the fast travel too fast. And... Alright. GPUz, let me move you over here. Oh, and now it disappears. Alright, so I've got that. Oh, I should have done that with the current save. But there is no... I mean, Skippy's there. I waited until after the heist, or after tagging the floats, to go and grab the other weapon. Because there were less guards at the thing. So we're gonna go there. Come on, GPUz. Like, please. Ugh. Alright. Anyway. I have to zoom it. Oh, and I have an NCPD there. But I gotta, like, look down through the buildings and tag there. Alright, well, it's leading me up in that direction. So, I'm not running that way, or that way, or that way, apparently. That's basically all needed. Should just run up the road this way. I forgot about that blade shop over there. And that's the elevator I'm looking for there. Last one, it was showing like an interview and or like a news broadcast or something. So we don't have the bunting here yet. I don't think I've talked. Yeah, I went and got that fast travel just before talking to Takamura on the catwalks. So I clearly have not been here yet. You don't have to go this way, but... And there's another way to hop up from over there, and you go up this ladder here.
Was reported slain on the premises of the Konpeki Plaza corporate hotel while attending a family gathering. Saburo Arasaka's son, Yorinobu Arasaka, has cast blame for his father's murder on the company's rivals, although he has not yet provided evidence supporting this claim. According to market analysts, the CEO's death may have been a desperate attempt to divert attention away from the company's ongoing internal issues. After the break, we asked experts how they see Arasaka.
All right. Here's the secret section. I could open that. I'm gonna walk over here. We're gonna note the 29 on that door. We're gonna note the 06 there. this proper. Center of screen. My keyboard is to the left of the monitor a little bit. So it's like... I'm thinking that's the center of the monitor. Rather than there. But, so apparently there should be like a tier 5 or an iconic, thing resembling Skippy here. Tier 1 definitely ain't it. So, yeah. And a couple of screen caps from videos, they show the thing sitting right here on the table. But they may have, like, hopped up and, like, dropped the thing and then hopped down to take the screen cap or something like that. I don't know. But there's definitely, either that is Phantom Liberty, or I wandered by the other location, and now it's like permanently spawned there. And I'm leaning more towards it's a Phantom Liberty thing. So anyway, yeah, that thing is clearly not here. At this point, I'm just going to load my current game, which is right here. $7 a.m. Character hasn't had breakfast yet. So what I'm looking for is something that resembles this maybe, except I think it's got a gold piece on the top. This is white and kind of a gold handle, kind of, sort of. It looks more like Skippy. If I scroll down. Yeah. That's gold. That's gold. But yeah, I don't see it here. I mean, allegedly the thing is... There's another location, I don't know where it is, to go get the thing. And then there's the one up on the catwalk, and I'm pretty sure the catwalk is the only one I've been to so far. How are we doing? I shouldn't have moved that thing. I mean, if I do that, and then I do that. Nah, and it still disappears. Alright. This will be a little quicker because I have that fast travel. And I know for a fact I didn't sell it because I've been putting every single iconic thing I find in my stash. So I'm thinking maybe I can turn the shadow quality up a little bit and maybe get this a little better, but... Oh, yeah. We got all kinds of, some place that I'm not going to end up walking up over the ledge. Yeah, all kinds of bunting here now for the parade and stuff. Okay, I guess they don't have the one here yet, but they do have other barriers up now. It's all pretty and designed out. Okay, yeah, maybe that is the catwalk way up there. And we got that there. Oh, I didn't want that. Already entered the code. Oh. Yeah, it's not sitting there. Not my stash. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, is that a Phantom Liberty only thing? Maybe? Possibly? The other sniper over there, maybe? I'm noticing that that is far more detailed in there than some of these other balconies and stuff. That's also kind of detailed there. But I think that section right there, yeah, that's part of the... There's like a camera room in there that you can go and hack when you're talking to Takamura. My thinking. I'm just going to load previous save and not bother walking back down. I was thinking of going down and looking up where the restaurant was, but at this point. I've seen enough. It's doing okay, I guess. Be nice to go and find one of those tools and maybe see if I can back off the TDP limit thing a little bit. You know, maybe 70 of 100% or something. But I gotta look at a dozen other things first. And as of right now, I think we're still in the is the card gonna self-destruct within 24 hours phase. Oh, that. I'm gonna cut the video there because I don't think people want to be sitting here staring at Unigine Valley for another 8 hours at least. Put some load on the GPU and let it be. So with that, yeah, 115 watts board power. That's what I would like to see. You know, as far as BTUs being emitted by this thing, heat that the AC unit has to deal with, it's not the chip draw, it's the total board power. And I vaguely remember there was like an MSI afterburner thing that somehow set the 1070 to like 70% of its normal TDP, and I was kind of happy there. Just that application just kept forgetting its profiles and kept forgetting to boot with Windows, and finally I just uninstalled the thing. So, yeah, no load at all. I got up to there, and then it was like, oh, I need fans. It was like stuck at like 50% fan. Where is it? Yeah. Yeah, no fan at all, and then it's like, oh, wait a minute, I need fans. I guess we are getting some. Yeah, I want this one. Yeah, there was a half thought that got interrupted because GPUz disappeared. I read online that the TDP on in some games is like 115 watts, and I think they were reading this here. Because this goes way higher than 115. Yeah. 160. So, yeah. There may be a way to convince this to run a little cooler, but I'll deal with that later. I gotta go find out if NVIDIA has left any, like, controls left to the user, or if it's just bake itself all the time mode and you have no way of telling the thing you don't want to see. You don't want to see temperatures above 60. Yeah, that is hovering so close to 70 right there. I see bits of green in here. Power limits. It actually is hitting a power limit here. So 165, I guess. Oh! I just thought of something evil. Evil. Nah. I'm not soldering this card that soon. If I increase the resistance of the little resistors on the back of the card that are monitoring power from the PCI plug, I can, like, trick the thing into thinking it's pulling more power than it really is. Now that I see that. Oh, and a thermal limit. That's just power and voltage reliability. So yeah, this thing is hit 70. Alright, so I guess 70C is its thermal limit. So that's good, I guess. Maybe. It's kind of interesting that it's balanced, so you're getting all three at the same time. The thermal, the voltage reliability, and the power limit. So, what I'm looking at here. Zoom right in on this. That almost looks like it's at an angle. This one I'm pretty sure is just slightly crooked on the pad, but it almost looks like this side is lifted up a little bit. And that one there, now that I'm looking at the picture. It may be nothing, but it may be an indication that on the underside of this it's cracked open, and that's lifted it up. Maybe. No melting on the plug. It's dusty as hell because it's friggin' ancient, but I mean, I've seen way worse SMD mounts. It's just, if this was done by a machine placing it, that's really on the edges of that machine has issues. And as Buildzoid has said multiple times, other than getting an idea of what kind of mode the thing is in, this is kind of pointless for trying to figure out if there's a VRM issue. Other than looking at the temperatures of things. There was a few things I wanted to mention, and after I get all the pictures together, I'm sitting here going, okay, what was it? So it mentioned something about trying to get this down in wattage. And I was thinking, well, I've got the screen cap from sitting at the dance club and showing that as I add quality of life features, the FPS is dropping rather than Windows showing the 3D load going up. And I'm looking over here going, okay, so I remember something about 60% TDP. What is 60% of 170, I think it was? 185 or something like that for the 1070. But the more I think about it, I think this joke applies here. Because the formula for TDP has to do with TJ max versus the amount of TDP that can be transferred away from the die in temperature. The actual term watts doesn't actually show up in the formula for TDP. So I'm starting to think that this was probably influenced by the card sitting at 60C. Or in the screen cap, yeah, 65. At 100% load. Yeah. So, I don't need to get into questionable formulas and whatnot. It's just, you know, that TDP isn't exactly like maximum watts. It also includes temperature as part of the formula to some extent. So I'm not really sure about that. Also looking at what I had here for different things. I did find the settings over here where I could turn on and off things to kind of match what I used to have. And I think I had whittled this down to what I actually needed to know versus other things that are kind of cool to know, like what is the RPM at fan percent. But at the end of the day, you know, how close is the fans to max RPM? Beyond that, I don't need to know about if the room temperature is just getting too hot. I was thinking about going and running around in the game with this open, but I think I'm going to have to go to back to the club and do some of the testing there so that I can have this open, because I'm trying to think of where do I put this on the screen where it's not going to be in my way, so I can not mess with it after starting the game. And over on this side over here would be like, you know, load, save, and resume and stuff like that. Over here you have like inventory stuff. So I'm not really sure, you know, if it's feasible to have this thing open while playing the game. There was something else here. It's immediately after clicking end on the other thing. Happened twice. These two little purple dots. I'm do extra zoom in there. Those are our thermal max limit indicators there, and there's green, there's purple, there's blue. So it's like the whole trio of max temp, max watts, and maximum voltage that it could crank into the thing at the same time. So that's fairly balanced. Fairly balanced, I guess. I'm just looking at this and cringing a little bit. So the 1070 was a lot bigger than this new card. That was the other thing that I'd mentioned, but I didn't have a picture open on this computer to show. So yeah, that's the old card. Been in the computer since 2016. Yeah, I know. Oh my god, clean that thing. That's the new one. Barely visible as all 64 gigs of RAM and whatnot. I think I did show that in the other one. Alright, now I have to, like, drag these over, don't I? So, yeah, that really... But this one also kind of looks like it's lifted at the same angle, so maybe the part picker machine did place these at an awkward angle, and they just never sat down proper on the board. That is, like... that is kind of... questionable. And yeah, that one looks a little, tilted as well. Machining defects probably, but I'm sitting here and the card's going from 40 to 70 degrees before the fans kick in, and then I hear a little cracking sound. It's... I don't know. Was there anything else here, or was that just... Yeah, I think that was pretty much it. Yeah, I think there was going to be a joke about, yeah, we're just going to look at the number for the sake of the number. We're not going to be designing heat sinks that actually do something. So we kind of don't need to know those numbers anyway. I think that's it for now. I gotta go and look at the other two recordings and see where it's gonna get spliced in, maybe.